What's up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminol on the Wall. I'm Bevy.
And I'm Becky.
And hello, sister.
Yes, hello there, Bevy.
Why don't we get the week started with our sister chat and tell me what's going on with your life?
Well, you know most, but what I haven't told you yet is how amazing a pinball night I had last night.
Oh, tell me about it.
All right. First of all, there's 19 ladies there, which is so rare, but our league is really growing, so that's really cool. Anyways, I'm in the 10th round, final round. I'm tied in 8th place. Top 8 are playoffs. I am in a 3-way tie with 2 of my friends. Shout out to Crystal and Tora. Anyways, we have to do a tiebreaker match. And you know what, Bev? I fucking whooped their asses.
Hell yeah, you did.
They're great.
On.
Yeah, they're great competitors. And we were just all having really great nights, but I beat them by a hair. And so I made the playoffs last night, first time pretty much ever.
Proud of you, Becky.
Yeah, and then ultimately I came in 6th place for the evening.
Honestly, I love that for you. I will say
you
you are pretty good at pinball. I mean, when I went with you to the I don't know, pinball. Pinbog.
Okay, Bevy.
Yeah, Yeg Pin. I was impressed with how good you were at pinball because I sucked shit. Let's be real.
You actually did pretty good considering you played it like a handful of times.
Yeah, but I was truly impressed by how good you were.
And I did do well.
There must be some skill involved, right? And knowing the machines.
Yeah.
So anyways, good job, Becky. I'm proud of you.
Okay, you know what my trick is to playing well?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple. 2 are pretty obvious.
No, I don't know. Sorry, I want to know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you regardless of if you wanted to know, to be honest. But glad to hear it. So some of the most obvious tips are use the flippers. I know that sounds very like duh, but do you know how many times you just get in the groove and then all of a sudden you just watch it go down and you're like, why didn't I hit the flipper? Like, that's my one job.
That's
so,
right. You can get distracted.
Yeah.
By everything
by all
that's
the
going
lights
on.
and people talking, you know? So, number 1
Yep.
tip. Number 2 tip, get a little bit stoned.
Nice.
And don't drink too much. Don't drink too much. Or
you
at all.
You need to be relaxed.
Yeah.
And
but
focused.
You can't be too relaxed or you don't hit the flipper. You see the problem?
Yes. So you have to be just the right amount of stoned is what you're telling me.
Yes, it's true. Just the right amount, and then you will play. You'll be on your A game. So if you ever feel like competing, Bevy, that's what you're gonna have to do.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. Thanks for giving us your. Wait, was that 2 tips or 3? Your tips to playing well.
It was only 2.
Also, I have one other one because you have to know the machine that you're playing on. I think that's important because you taught me like how to get points in pinball. And It's not always intuitive. Like you make the ball go and then like sometimes if you hit a certain marker like 4 times, like you'll get multi-ball or something. But if you don't know to hit that thing, then it's like, well, it's just more random. Whereas like this one you can actually like target the ball towards a goal.
Oh, yeah. And like you want to get them skill shots right out the gate. Because that, like, bumps you up, like, a couple mil right out, like, with, like, 1 flipper hit. That's all.
Yeah.
You know? But you got to hit the right combos. You got to hit the right ramps. You got to hit the right targets, like you said. There is a lot of skill to it.
There is. I was surprised by that.
Yeah. You had no idea. You just think just hit the ball, don't let it drop, you get points, blah, blah, blah.
It's not true.
You know what? I wonder if I sometimes annoy people because sometimes I have really good games and I virtually have like no idea what I'm doing.
I just know you're hit the good ramps. At the game.
Yeah, just like hit the ramps, hit the lady uppy things, and you get points, a lot of them. And as long as you just keep hitting them, you just keep getting points.
Yeah, I definitely think you're probably the least hardcore of the people that go there. So I could see why that would be annoying for them. You're like, damn this Becky bitch.
Even though it's actually a very supportive, loving community, I don't think it's actually like that. But sometimes I wonder, be like, I don't really care to learn them. I just go and have fun. I'm more for the socializing, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't
totally
mind
get it.
playing pinball. So, but some of these women, like, they know these machines like the back of their hand. I also just don't know how they retain all that information. It's quite shocking how brilliant they are. So,
Well, as we said, I think they're a little bit more hardcore. So,
yeah. It's like, no, you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore.
oh my God. I was like trying to conjure up what the fuck that is from. Oh
And
my
did you
God.
conjure it?
I don't think I did, Becky, unless, why is Forgetting Sarah Marshall coming to my head? It's not, is it?
I don't know why it's coming to your head because it's not it. No.
I guess just the way you said, I'm not hardcore, made me think of the puppet at the end of it all.
The Dracula or vampire?
The Dracula puppet. Because you're like,
Do you want
you're not hardcore, kind of.
I think those are a little bit different vibes, but do you want a hint?
I want a hint, yes.
Jack Black.
Oh, School of Rock.
Not hardcore. There you go, Bevy.
Okay, yeah,
Yes,
you're
girl.
right.
Girl.
Well, hey, Jack Black does actually have like a pretty like theatrical voice, so there you go.
You're not wrong, but he ain't no Dracula.
But I was incorrect. Oh, and also, just as a total side note, for anyone who's an avid Luminol on the Wall listener, about a couple weeks back, near the end of the episode, I was like, oh, there's this word that I can't think of. And I never did think of it. But then I did think of it, and now I know it. So
And now you're remembering to mention it. What was it?
It was cognitive dissonance. Whatever. Cognitive dissonant. Holy cannoli. Dissonance. Oh, whew. Cognitive dissonance. You know?
Yes. No. No. I had no idea. I would have never have guessed that. Oh my goodness.
I'm failing to remember the context, just the fact that that was the word that I remembered. So, yeah, this was kind of a pointless thing to bring up, basically.
Because you're like, what podcast was it in? What was I referencing? And can't even tell you. So,
well, maybe
listen
next
to
week
the last
I'll remember.
like 7 podcasts.
Yeah.
There you go, Bevy. Well, congrats that you know those big words. I'm so proud of you. You're so smart.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at us, Becky.
Using words and shit.
Yeah, and getting into playoffs and shit.
What?
All right. And pinball.
Oh, I
right?
thought you were talking about the Blue Jays. I don't know.
Actually, go Blue Jays. Hell yeah.
Yes, that's what I thought you were
kicking
referencing.
the Yankees' ass right now, so yeah. But no, I was talking about you and your pinball.
Right. You're smart. I play good. I get it now. And go Blue Jays.
And go Blue Jays.
And let's get into the case.
Yeah, let's move on.
Oh, God. All right. Today we're going to talk about a case that takes us all the way to Nebraska, Bev, but unfortunately has never been solved. So I'm saying it right now. If you're listening to this podcast and by chance know something about this case, for the love of God, say something. Call the local or Nebraska police. Okay?
Yeah.
So, Bev, if you know anything, you say something too.
Okay.
That's a long shot, obviously, in here in
obviously.
Canada. But, like I said, if you know something, say something.
Yeah.
So, this is the story of Kelcey Marie Fike. Kelcey was born on March 26, 1987, and she grew up in Monroe, Wisconsin. She had an older brother named John, and her parents, Mary Jo and Randy, described her as full of life. Kelcey was fun, silly, energetic. She was beautiful, charismatic, and she loved to sing and dance. People who knew her said she had an infectious laugh, the kind of laugh that made you laugh too, even if you didn't know what the joke was. In 2006, the Fike family moved to Nebraska because that's where Mary Jo's mother lived, and the family quickly settled in. Now, as Kelcey got older, she ended up getting a very distinct tattoo on her back. It was a goldfish tattoo. Now, this is something that her family would later be asked about in the most heartbreaking way imaginable. Now, in March of 2007, Kelcey met someone, a man named Alex Young. He was tall, handsome, and the two of them fell hard and fast. Alex was the love of her life. Kelcey's family also liked Alex. They said he was nice, kind, and he fit right in. At the time, Alex was a reservist with the Nebraska National Guard, and just after or about a year of dating, Alex gave Kelcey a diamond promise ring. He vowed to always take care of her. The couple had big plans. They wanted to buy a house together, but to save money for that dream, they decided to move into a mobile home in an older trailer in Kearney, Nebraska. The area that they moved to wasn't exactly desirable. It just sat off the main road, tucked away between two businesses, kind of out of sight from the main road. The trailer itself was nothing special, but it would move them forward in the future. Now, despite the area, the family never really worried about Kelcey's safety. And at this time, Kelcey was super happy. She had just gotten a new job, and from the outside looking in, life was going really well. The only hard thing was that sometimes Alex traveled for work, and Kelcey was a bit lonely sometimes. But while he was away, she would just go stay with her family. You know, that's what families are for. Go hang out for the week or whatever. I feel like I would do that too, Bevy. If my partner was away for long, extended periods of time, I'd just go live with you.
Oh, for sure. I could not. I know like a couple of friends whose partners sometimes work away from home, and I'm like, I don't know. I would hate that.
Yeah. I don't think you'd be like a good candidate for a traveling partner.
Oh, hell no. I already know it. I would never. I couldn't be with somebody that traveled for work. It would drive me nuts.
It would. Bev and Craig are so cute. There was like a couple times where they like before they got pregnant, Bev would be like, I've been like so busy all week, and she would like start crying because she's like, I just like haven't spent enough time with Craig, and I just like miss him, even though they like spend every night together, hang out on weekends with their friends and family, you know, live together, have a life. But it was so cute because even just having that like short amount of time, it was hard for you.
Yeah,
never mind.
I like seeing him every night.
Away.
I like the predictability of knowing that I go home and he's there. And I don't know, he's one of my favorite people. So I feel like life just feels fuller and more vibrant when he's around. And yeah, I just like him. You know what's crazy? At the beginning of my pregnancy, I would feel this insane urge to just be at home. And like I would cry being at work because I missed home and Craig so much.
Yes.
It was like the weirdest feeling. Like I've never been like to that extent. But yeah, just being at work was really tough. Like I would say the first trimester, it kind of started to go away after that. But that first trimester, like I must have been hormones or something. I don't know. But yeah, it was above and beyond what I would have normally felt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a little exaggerated compared to non-pregnant times.
For sure.
Like you even left my house a couple times after podcasting, just like crying and be like, I just gotta get home.
Yeah. Seriously.
Like, okay, well, we'll talk later. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Yeah. It was like that was whole nother level. But even just on a day-to-day basis, I like to see Craig every day. And if I don't see him every day, it's not like I'll have a connection or anything, but I would definitely feel like something was missing.
Yeah. I like to see Jamie every day too.
Right? And I guess like if you don't have that, of course you're going to go see your family. Like the next best thing.
That's right. Feel like you have to tolerate me now. I'm here to stay. Love me.
It's nice that her family was close enough that she could do that though.
Exactly. Blessing for that. So we're going to jump forward a little bit to June 16th, 2008. Alex was out of town working in Louisiana. Kelcey had what seemed like a completely normal day. She was working her shift at the mall. She then came home around 5:30 p.m. And then later, around 9 p.m., she took her basset hound Dante out for a walk. This is specifically known because neighbors recalled seeing them. And this was part of their routine. Now, as I just got finished saying, when Alex was gone, Kelcey would normally go stay with her parents, but this time she actually stayed home. And the reason for that was she was busy packing. She was getting ready for a trip herself to go and see her best friend, Jamie Graham. She and Jamie even talked that evening about their trip And then around 1 a.m., Kelcey had texted Alex. Now, this is where things truly go wrong, Bev. At about 4:30 in the morning, Kelcey's trailer was engulfed in flames. Someone delivering newspapers noticed smoke coming from the trailer court. They went to go check it out, and they saw Kelcey and Alex's trailer on fire, and they immediately called 911. A bunch of neighbors then rushed out, and unfortunately, they were completely helpless. It was like the flame had been going a little while, like it wasn't just a smolder, start of something. It was full on in flames. Whoever is in there is in major danger. And all they could do was stand outside and shout to Kelcey and call for Dante to come on out. But there was no sign of them. They could only hear the fire alarms from inside the trailer. A little while later, firefighters arrived and they battled the blaze. It took a fair amount of time, and when it was finally put out, the trailer was completely destroyed. Inside, Kelcey's remains were found lying near the back bedroom on the floor. And sadly, Dante, her beloved dog, was found dead in the living room. What stood out to detectives, though, was that Kelcey and her dog were in two separate rooms. Would that send out to you, Bevy?
I don't think so. Only because, like, for Rocky, your pup, I know that sometimes he sleeps in your room, but I also know that sometimes he goes and puts himself to bed in his, like, in a whole totally separate room where his kennel is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, not really.
Okay. Well, I actually myself do agree that that would be a little weird, and I'll tell you why. Because Kelcey was found, like, laying on the ground in the hallway, right? So if I'm up and moving, Rocky is by my side, especially if I'm the only one home.
Right, and where is she found?
She was kind of found in the hallway near her bedroom, and the dog was in the living room.
Right, so it's not like she was just asleep in bed and the dog had settled somewhere else. It was like she was on the move, at least it seemed. So why wouldn't her dog be closer to her?
Exactly. Or, like, why wouldn't she be, like, trying to leave the house? It just seemed odd to the investigators. Now, regardless if that means anything, it just stood out to them,
Right. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I've never been a dog owner, like, in my adult years, so I guess my opinion is irrelevant. Or just not as informed. Is not as informed. That sounded like I was having a pity party. Like, I guess my opinion's not as irrelevant.
But you're like, I've just never lived with a dog as an adult.
Yeah, I'm not as informed. So
you're not as informed.
Okay,
It's
so
okay.
It stands out. It's weird.
Yeah. So that same morning, the police went to the Fike home. They knocked on the door and asked Mary Jo and Randy a heartbreaking question. Did their daughter have a goldfish tattoo on her back? And when they confirmed, officers told them the devastating truth that Kelcey did not survive the fire. The family immediately remembered Alex mentioning when they first moved in that the trailer had a faulty furnace. And maybe that was it. Maybe this was some horrible accident, I mean,
Yeah, of
hey,
course.
Beth, do you remember I called you yesterday? Because what the fuck happened to my fucking house?
Yeah, you had a mini explosion in your furnace. And Jamie was saying, like, thank God he was home and everything was good, that there was no fire started. So, yeah, I could see how that, to them at least, might seem like a logical explanation as to why the whole trailer was engulfed in flames and their daughter has passed away.
Exactly. So it's, like, logical at this point. But investigators soon discovered this was not an accident, Bevy. But first, the initial assumption was that she died from smoke inhalation. The reason why it wasn't from the flames was because her body, Bev, was not that burnt. Like, they were still able to see her goldfish tattoo.
Despite the trailer being engulfed.
Yes.
I think that's a common way that people who are caught in fires, that's a common way that they do pass away, hey?
Smoke inhalation?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw This Is Us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that might be a spoiler for someone, but whatever, it's old enough.
It's old news. But yeah.
So
common.
Yeah. So that was their initial thought, that it was smoke inhalation.
I cannot get over the fact that you keep saying smoke inhalation.
What do you mean?
I cannot get over it.
Am I saying it weird?
I think you are.
You say
it. Smoke inhalation.
Smoke inhalation. Oh, I hear it. It sounds like I'm saying almost like annihilation, but inhalation.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like this is inhale.
Inhalation.
Inhalation. Oh, God.
I'm not enunciating very crispy at all.
Oh my God.
Crisp,
I can't with you. Every goddamn time, it seems.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, that was a bad one, Becky. That was a bad one. If you guys don't know and you haven't heard Becky do this before, but she sometimes picks words that are almost insulting to the way that people pass away on our podcasts. Totally unintentionally.
Yeah.
Like saying crisp in a fire death, that's crazy. Especially when she's talking about something totally different, like the way she enunciates words.
But I feel like
say enunciate. Had to say crisp.
Well, because it's like, I'm saying it like soft instead of,
Oh,
crisp.
I know.
In any other context, it would make perfect sense and not be at all insensitive. And yet my brain goes there, and there's nothing I can do about it.
So anyways, you're saying it weird, Becky.
Sorry.
It is what it is.
We'll carry on, shall we? Yes, just ignore it.
Yeah, we should.
Didn't happen.
So obviously she did not, I'm guessing, since this was the first assumption, that she did not die of smoke inhalation.
You are correct, Bev. So when Kelcey's body was examined, it didn't show any damage that you would expect from a fire. Kelcey had injuries and severe injuries. She had bruises across her upper torso and arms. Her nose was broken. Her cheek and lip had been hit very hard. And overall, she just had blunt force trauma to her head. On top of that, she had been strangled, both manually, like with someone's hands, as well as with a ligature.
Holy shit.
So
she died before the fire. So the fire was a cover-up. At least it seems.
Exactly. So now we got a big problem. The one thing that really stood out to investigators was that both the front and back door had been unlocked. Due to the area, Kelcey most likely would not have chosen to leave them open, especially in the middle of the night.
And with her boyfriend
not home.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was official at this moment. They could clearly say that Kelcey Fike's death was a homicide. And as you said before, the fire investigators also determined it was deliberately set and meant to cover up this crime. What is weird in this situation is that there was no accelerant used. Instead, the fire had began in a laundry basket that had been filled with clothes inside Kelcey's bedroom. Who tries to cover up a crime and doesn't use an accelerant, though?
Yeah, no kidding.
With a fire, right?
Yeah. I wonder how long the murderer then was in the trailer. Probably long enough for the trailer to at least catch a significant fire. Because why would you risk it?
Why would you risk it?
If your goal is to cover it up, you wouldn't just set a small fire and leave, right? You would have stayed a while. Also, I have to ask, because as we know, the dog is dead. Did the murderer also kill the dog prior to setting the fire, or did the dog die because of the fire?
All right. That is a fabulous question, Bev. And I'm happy you asked it. In my mind, I actually was going to tell you to ask me that question somewhere along the line. The reason why I say that is because throughout this, researching this crime, there is very little evidence and information out to the public about some of the details. So how did the dog die? Not a clue. Did maybe the dog die of smoke inhalation?
Sorry, that's not funny.
It's just the way I said it, I know. But did the dog die that way, or did the dog actually get murdered as well?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, well, anyway, so we have no information on that. I like to assume that, like, it was just smoke inhalation. Because, yeah.
who would kill a dog as well as a human?
Yeah, it's just
Well,
like,
lots of people do. We've seen it in other podcasts, you know?
yeah, it's just like, ugh.
So, anyways, good question, but there's not a lot of details about that stuff. And it was frustrating because I also thought, what happened to the dog? Damn it.
Yeah. For any, like, you have a dog, you're probably like, how'd the doggy die?
Exactly.
But I think it's safe to assume that it was either smoke inhalation or he got bludgeoned or something. So either way, the dog's dead, and so is Kelcey, and that's awful.
It's so awful. And go ahead.
No. Obviously, I'm jumping way ahead. I'm like, is this someone she knows, or is this a random attack, you know? But I'm jumping way ahead. So
You are jumping ahead, but that is a question that is posed in this case. So obviously, they look at Alex, Kelcey's boyfriend, first because he lives with her. You know, it's her boyfriend. He's obviously first person of interest. So he was hundreds of miles away in Louisiana on National Guard duty. He also ended up providing DNA. He took a polygraph test, which he passed, and he had a rock solid alibi. And because of these factors, the investigators cleared him from being a suspect. Now, there's a little bit of controversy here because apparently they had kind of already cleared him as a suspect after the first hour of speaking with him. And then the polygraph and DNA came later. Now, we've seen it in several of our podcasts where the spouse is away on a trip or out of town, you know, completely MIA, and their spouse dies. But they planned the crime. Now, the hard part about this case is that there is not much information in regards to how, far did they look into Alex, or how deep did they look into Alex? Did they check cell phone records? Did they check text messages, emails, bank transactions, anything like that? You know? Now, they may have done all that. I'm not saying they didn't do it. Just the public has no knowledge of that. So at this point, you have to 100% trust that the investigators did a full deep dive into that, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, that's such a common way that spouses kill their partner, is like by hiring someone. So it's crazy that they didn't look into anything else, or what the public knows, at least, that they didn't look into it deeper, because how would they know that that's not a possibility?
Well, exactly. And that's the frustration online, people who are aware of the case, is that it was just happened so fast. But the problem as the public, and in all my research that I found, was that there isn't, the police don't explain to the public what they did to clear him, right? So did they look at his phone, his emails, bank stuff? I don't know. But it all seems a little odd that it only took an hour, you know?
Yeah, for them to completely clear his name.
Yes, but we don't have all the information, so it's hard to make that judgment. But, true crime fanatics, Bev, an hour? Only an hour, Anyways.
On. Yeah.
Anyways,
I guess
so
they're just really good at their job, Becky.
That's right.
Super good.
Top-notch policing. So, as we've clearly gone through, they cleared Alex. But after Alex, they really had no one to turn to. Friends, family, even exes of Kelcey's, no one had anything bad to say about her. No one had any beef with her. So there was no then obvious suspect to look at. And it made this investigation really difficult. Still, though, there were some clues. For one, the trailer park itself, as we know, was kind of hidden and tucked away between two businesses. And you wouldn't have really known it was there unless you knew about it. So, one, they assumed that it was someone that knew Kelcey, knew where she lived. And then the next kind of clue is that Dante, the cute little dog, neighbors told the police that Dante barked at everyone, Bev. He was super protective of Kelcey, but that night, nobody heard him barking at all, which strongly suggests that the killer was someone Kelcey and Dante knew.
Right.
Although one thing, I have a large-ass dog, big old German Shepherd, Rottweiler mix. His bark is loud as shit. If he is on another level in my house, Bev, and I was dead asleep, I might not wake up to him.
I mean, that is fair, but obviously the neighbors heard him bark often.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, in the middle of the night, people are dead fast asleep.
That's true, but
that might not mean anything, right?
It might not, but I would also argue that maybe like mobile homes might not have as much sound deadening as like your home, for example. So that would be another factor to consider.
Ah, yes. All the factors. So it could mean everything or it could mean nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. I think the more like crazy clue is that no one would know the trailer park was there unless they already knew. Like that one does seem to suggest it could be someone she knew more than the dog to me.
I agree. All right. Now, this is where the investigators get a real initial good piece of evidence, Bev. Like good, solid, not just like, oh, the dog wasn't barking, must be someone she knew, you know? They recover surveillance video from across the street, and it showed at 4:39 a.m., just 10 minutes before the fire was reported, a car was seen leaving the trailer park. Now, in a stroke of bad luck, the footage was frustratingly vague. All you could see were headlights, and they were just barely visible on the top corner of the video. At best, it looked like maybe a dark color sedan, but there was absolutely no way to figure out the make and model or the license plate. So it's like, oh, cool, there was headlights leaving the trailer park. You know, maybe someone had an early job.
Okay, so
like, was it a suspect or was it just a resident going to work or something?
So it's not like the greatest piece of evidence.
No, however, the timeline when you see it is very suspicious.
That's true.
Right?
Okay. So we hope that they figure out more about this vehicle at some point, right? Or something. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the autopsy for a little bit, Bev. We know that she had some pretty severe wounds. She had lots of defensive wounds. She had been beaten and strangled. And there was clear evidence that she had fought pretty hard for her life. Now, there was also DNA found on Kelcey. And fortunately, there was no sign of sexual assault. So the investigators kind of put together a theory believing that someone had tried to sexually assault her, but she fought so hard and it kind of just went really south and they gave up on the assault and killed her and then tried to light the trailer on fire. Unfortunately, in regards to the DNA that was found on Kelcey, because of the fire and the water used to put out the fire, it was a little diluted and mixed with her own DNA. So in order to get a DNA profile, you can imagine how hard it would be to find that suspect, right?
Absolutely.
Regardless, though, they did send off that DNA for testing in hopes to find a match somewhere down the road. Now, Bev, this all happened in 2008.
So long ago?
So long ago. Now, as of today, in 2025, they have no suspects.
That is completely outrageous. It does make a little bit more sense why why the true crime community is a little bit more outraged, just because if that wasn't looked into, like, how could they absolutely clear the boyfriend, right? Truly,
Yes.
like, if they didn't look into it. But again, if they did, then I get it. But also it's just like, wow, I kind of forgot as you were going through this that this was an unsolved case until just now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense now why people are outraged, because there's no resolution.
There's no resolution.
Although I will say, typically for a murder for hire, like, you're in there to execute and get on with it. Like, just basically, execute the person.
Yes.
You know, you're doing a job for money. You're not there for pleasure. And
Exactly.
the DNA, the strangulation, being beaten, things like that don't seem like they match and fit with a murder for hire. It kind of actually seems like somebody was doing it for their own sick, sadistic like purposes.
Well, exactly. That is a very good point. Because, like, why would you want your loved one to go through all that and
Exactly.
potentially get sexually assaulted? For what? He's stood nothing to gain
Right.
except pure sadness and sorrow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just don't think that was it at all. And maybe, hey, maybe that's what the police thought too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this just the MO of how she was killed and the killer, like, it doesn't match a murder for hire. And so I think
Exactly.
potentially they were just like that just seems like the furthest from the truth.
What happened? Yeah, exactly.
And then without any other evidence to support that, they probably just were like, yep, dismissed. Like, you're good. You were so far away.
Exactly. Now, investigators are still hoping that there is enough advancements in technology that they would be able to get a solid profile from the DNA and hope that one day they will find someone who matches that.
I will say,
Oh, go ahead.
just as a small caveat, it's like we're in that stage where it's like, oh, we'll hope in the future that DNA will progress. It's like, I'm sure back in the 80s they said the same thing, or the 90s, and then it did.
And then it did.
So I do
There's
believe
hope.
there is hope for that.
Absolutely. Now, there was and still is a $30,000 reward for information that will lead them to the killer. The
Right.
police still get tips, obviously not as regular as it was, but they still do get random tips and leads to follow up with, and they are still actively searching or looking into those. So that's the good news, because someone out there has got to know what happened to Kelcey Fike. There's at least one
Well, let's
person we
hope.
know there is that knows the murderer.
Obviously, yep.
Hopefully they're a blabbermouth. Hopefully someone has some information. It does not matter that it was, 15 years ago. Just come forward and say something.
Yeah, even
Better
if you
late
think
than
it's
never.
insignificant, right?
Yeah, come forward. Now, there is another theory to put out there that would make this harder to solve, is the fact that Kelcey worked at a mall. She came into contact with tons of people on a regular basis. Could someone have followed her home from the mall? Saw where she lived? That's just a theory, something that you always have to keep an open mind to, right? Could it have been just a random stranger on the street that said, hey, that's a beautiful woman. She has a captivating smile. I
could
like
it
her.
just been like a crime of opportunity, right?
Yeah,
You never know.
exactly. Now, unfortunately, those are just the questions that they can't answer at the moment. And I pray to God that one day we will find out, because time is ticking at the end of the day. And unfortunately, Kelcey's father has passed away since this crime, so he had no resolution before his passing. May he rest in peace. And Kelcey's mom still remains super vocal about Kelcey's murder. She wants answers before, her time is done. Kelcey's brother is quoted saying, somebody out there knows something, and we believe we will get answers someday.
I mean, that's it right there, right? When something bad happens, you have to hang on to the hope.
You got to hang on to the hope that there will be resolution. So, Bev, I know that this was not as crazy of a case, and there's no resolution, and there's no one to be like, fuck that person for doing something terrible. They got justice. It's not the case today. So, if we ever hear
It's
of
more
any
of like
news,
a message, right? Out to anyone listening, and bring awareness to the case, because who knows, as we said, what information somebody could have that could listen to this and think, oh, I talked to this person that said something that sounded similar to this, blah, blah, blah.
yeah, you never know what little tidbit will help. So, with that being said, Bev, no justice was served and only a light was lost in this world. And I know her family is staying strong, and I hope that one day they get all the answers that they want and need. So with that,
Absolutely.
thanks for listening, Bev.
Thanks for sharing. I love you hugely.
I love you hugely too.
And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.